Okay, welcome back, everybody. Thank you, everyone, once again, for being here. We're going to have a few changes this week, and I know some people aren't necessarily going to be pleased. I think it's going to come more as a surprise that we're going to be changing the topics up this week. So the last week and the week beforehand, we had the topic of class balance, the class discussion topic, and I want everyone to be aware that this podcast is not necessarily going to cater around this anymore. We have been taking everyone's criticism, feedback, and been trying to apply it into something that has a little bit more of a developed structure. So I feel like we are getting to the end of a topic that I feel like is becoming a little bit rushed. People are starting to ask us if we can recover certain classes. So because of that, I feel like we shouldn't be in a rush to get through every single class as fast as we can. So we are taking it back a couple steps to get fewer guests in the room while we have some of our main faces that have been here since the beginning. And we are going to be going through the classes a little bit slower while the focus isn't going to be balanced through the classes and this discussion. I feel like it's going to leave a broader discussion for us at the table, and I feel like as we go through some of these episodes, people are going to feel a little bit happier that we've taken our time to go through these classes at a much slower pace. So joining us today, we've got DMUK and JeffyTheWise. I'm sure you guys have already been familiar with Anfield Choice, Namiko, Vert, myself. DMUK, Jeffy, thank you very much for taking time out of your guys' day and schedule. I know, DMUK, you just ended your stream to be here. And what's going on? How's it going?
Swimmingly.
Life skilling all day. Feels good to be back.
So, life skilling. I was actually surprised that we had maintenance on the Monday. I didn't realize we had it on the Monday, and everyone was talking about the big update. And I'm sitting here and I was thinking it was Tuesday. Oh yeah, okay. What am I saying? Tuesday morning. Sorry, it was Monday evening. My apologies. EU is gonna think I'm weird for saying that. But it was a day early, and we are getting into MANOS. I've gone over the patch notes. I see that they've added blue gear. We can talk about Ultra Blood in a bit, but we had the green gear added last week. Now we have the blue gear added this week. From what I've been hearing in the community, it sounds like the blue gear isn't necessarily the greatest one to go for. I'm hearing a lot of talks of you should be waiting for the yellow gear. Anyone got anything to contribute onto this one?
I think the blue gear is something that a lot of players will go for just because the orange accessories are just so expensive, and so time consuming to get. And not a lot of people really want to life skill that much. And even people who do, it's not going to end up really getting you money back.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one.
It's something more that you go for if you... just for fun, basically, almost.
An interesting thing...
For me, I don't really go for PvP gear or PvE. I just life skill. So to have some sort of progression, I kind of have to go for the top stuff. But in reality, when it comes to return and getting your money's worth out of it, probably not for everyone.
An interesting thing about the life skill gear is I'd like to avoid just lumping it all together, because accessories, armor, and tools are all very different in how you upgrade them. And in a lot of cases, green accessories are very cheap. And for the most part, they can carry you all the way to mid-level life skilling or supplementing your PvP progression. But the Manos armor, like DMUK was saying, is so prohibitively expensive. So blue armor seems to be a really good end game goal. Then when you get over to tools are completely different. You can use cron stones to enhance them. It's just like a weapon. We've all enhanced pen weapons. It's doable.
Yeah, from a majorly like PvE player and like PvP player that focuses on their gear, I completely understand that sentiment, where I don't really feel like I would ever go for gold or blue gear even. I think that green at Tet is cheap enough where it's giving me a pretty big benefit to my AFK time, but I don't feel like I'm losing out on much because I'm not like spending those hours and hours of life skilling to sort of recuperate that cost. And like what DMUK was saying, I'm kind of happy that they are implementing a way of gear progression for players that only life skill, because believe it or not, there are a lot of players that only life skill in this game. And I think there's a bigger community of life skillers than many people really realize. And people that don't really care about gear, I mean, they were sort of getting gear as life skillers just to sort of like feel that progression. And now they have a real way to have sort of a tangible benefit and feeling like, wow, and I feel like I'm a grinder. I got more gear. I'm grinding faster. I'm gathering faster, right? And I'm really happy for everybody that like enjoys that part of the game.
I have a question
Yeah.
for DMUK actually, or even Jeffy. If you guys are, say, giving advice out as players probably come to your streams to get life skill information, would you say, like, they're just getting into the life skills, do they go for blue or green? Because obviously gold is probably too far out of reach. That's more for you guys. But is it worth them going for blue at all? Or is it depend on the, whether it's an armor or like a specific piece, like an axe or something? Or is it just go for green or?
Personally, at the moment I'm recommending to get green. It's just so cheap, and it gets you a nice feel of mastery to see if you really like it and like think it's worth it for yourself. You need to experience it for yourself to really understand. And green is just so cheap and easy to get into. That I always recommend just doing that first. And then, if you want to mainly life skill for your income, then go blue. But if you still like want to just grind, then stick with the green.
Is there any
I mostly
difference
agree.
between if you wanted to say do life skilling with cooking versus say alchemy? Is there any particular life skill that benefits from getting really high mastery that you would probably be like, well, blue is going to help you get that much easier than green would?
It also comes down to like how easy is life skill to level as well. And yeah, it does vary from life skill to life skill, because you get a lot of easy mastery just from having a high level. So say like cooking, for example, is super easy to level. You can get Guru 20, relatively easy. Which means your gear doesn't need to be anywhere near as good as, say, I don't know, if training was ever good. Because training is impossible to level like past the mid masters, so you need more gear to get more mastery. So it kind of varies. And then yeah, obviously benefits. I think the ones you really want to get high are alchemy. You want to get hunting high if you're interested in doing that, just because you need to hit 900 to hit the highest, like the trade item part of it. And then like gathering, you also want to be pretty high. I haven't looked into everything yet, but some of them look kind of lackluster. Like you wouldn't even invest anything into it. But the three I mentioned should be pretty good.
What kind of gear do you think you would need to hit, for example, 900 hunting? What kind of accessories and what kind of tool?
So with hunting, it became significantly easier because of the XP patch that we had a few months back, which made leveling hunting so much easier, which means you can get more mastery that way. Before that patch, I'd say it'd be basically impossible unless you went crazy and went pen gear, which isn't going to happen. But it's still difficult now because there's no extra item. You don't get a tool. You don't get a offhand. There's nothing. So you just have your clothes and your accessories and your level. So, I mean, if you are high, like Master 20, I think, you can get away with like tri clothes and maybe tri blue accessories, something like that. I mean, I haven't done the math right now, but it's something along those lines. So it's a lot more accessible now, but it's still pretty difficult. They need to
Just
add
to math that out real quick, it would be tech green accessories or tri blue with pet blue armor and master 20 is how you'd hit the 900 hunting breakpoint.
Yeah.
Master 20, it's
Master
high.
20 is
But
tough,
with
yeah.
Featherwolves, it's doable. It's actually really doable.
Yeah, and you've got to remember also that Mastery actually made hunting even easier to level, because with Mastery you can double proc the XP token and your Hedgehog procs one, so you can now get 3 potentially per Feather Wolf. It's even faster. So I don't think M20 is too out of reach, especially if you're obviously like into hunting and you want to get to the 900 bracket. It's not too bad.
And that's true for a lot of life skills. A lot of life skills, if people haven't gone into them yet, but you want to check it out now, don't feel like you're too far behind, because gathering, processing, cooking, hunting, all of it, you level up so much faster with the way Mastery buffs it. And then you get that increasing XP returns as you progress. So it feels really rewarding.
Yeah, especially cooking and processing. Like, the amount of XP boosts they got was insane.
Which life skills are you guys
I don't.
currently focused on?
I'd have to say
Gathering.
gathering, but only for the reason that you need so many of the new enhanced materials for the orange gear, and I'm pretty sure Jeffy's probably doing the same. But yeah, you need to farm black frags like crazy.
Is
So
the MANOS
it's all
orange?
gathering right now for like the next 2 weeks.
If I can cut in, I don't know if this was asked because I had to take my dog out very quickly. Is the amount of currency that is being made from the gear being here in comparison to when it wasn't, is the amount being made noticeable? Is it a drastic change?
Like the value per hour
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the rust. It's huge. It's like
Yeah.
3 times as good now. It's
Wow.
actually viable.
Because
It's pretty close to sell your mystic weapons good.
oh wow.
I'm a witch. How do you expect me to progress in endgame BDO?
Witches got their PV buff.
God damn it, I wasn't ready for that. Last week, I was doing some gathering and people just kept telling me, dude, get your green gear, get your green gear. I just had one day where I was just like, oh no, like all the magical axes are on sale. Let's go buy all the magical axes. So I went to go chop trees on a few characters and people were like, you're just doing yourself you're shooting yourself in the foot by not having this green gear. Would you agree by the sounds of that? Like,
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the problem is you do need a certain amount of mastery to actually get back up to the point where we were before. It's not too bad. It's not like impossible. Anyone can do it nowadays with the amount of money people make. But
like
getting
the
the
one
green
time I
gear,
regret not
just-
gathering on one character.
that is also true. People who spread their gathering over multiple characters kind of got shafted.
That's what I
To-
did. I made sure that
pretty
all
much.
18 of my characters were at least minimum skilled 5, so they could all use magic tools. Now it's
I was
like,
actually going to
Yeah.
ask that. If you guys have, like, say, Manos, and you've invested into the Manos gear for gathering, you have all the accessories and everything, is that enough to boost another character since the energy consumption is so much higher? Is that a viable strategy where you could use ults to gather as long as they have the Manos gear to back them up to a higher tier mastery than they would have otherwise?
I think
the thing
level
is
is
you
too
do get a
important.
lot from level, like
It's
a
too
lot.
important to have the level. Okay.
You're better off spending 40 million silver per hour on energy and just keep going on your main
Yeah,
gathering.
I would agree with that. Yeah, unless you
I
have
see.
oddly like high level ults, but it's not going to happen. I think
There's no level way to like cooking. You said you could level that really fast. Gathering, you can't really boost it super fast.
You can.
you can boost
Okay.
gathering pretty quick. I reckon, but I mean,
But
for
there's
people who
no
have, like,
soft,
cooking
there's no
ults,
limit. You want to go all the way to Guru 20, and then all of a sudden it becomes twice as good to level.
Yeah,
But really, you
exactly.
want to consolidate your life skills. Not every life skill on one character, but all of your gathering on one character.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah, if you have a cooking ult, then that's fine because everything's on that. You just cook on that character.
What would
So
you
I
say?
kinda-
Use
is,
accessories.
Go on,
That's sort
Travis.
of a hypothetical question that I really wanted to ask coming into this podcast about mastery. So, Jeffy, I'm more familiar with your gear than pretty much anybody else here, and I know that you have quite a bit of money invested into combat type gear, like let's say around maybe 200 billion. Do you think that based on the money per hour that you can grind right now with 200 billion worth of gear, if you invested that 200 billion into Manos when that comes out, would you be making more money an hour life skilling by a long shot?
Not by a long shot, but I think life skilling at high-end gear and high-end levels is comparable to a 269 Kudum Mystic with no castle buff. You know, there's always, if you get castle buff and Arsha and a loot scroll, that's almost always going to outpace life skilling. And grinding has the added bonus of super rare drops like a duo accessory. They're just not going to get from life skilling. But I do think 200 mil an hour from life skilling is possible at the ultra high end.
Okay, so would you guys kind of agree then? Like, we think that Manos is sort of in a pretty decently balanced state. Like, it's not something that can be really that overpowered, and with similar investment in gear, you can get similar return just like you could from grinding, right?
For some life
it's just-
skills.
yeah, it's too early on. I feel like they're definitely gonna have a lot more changes coming for like a lot of the life skills, because some of them are really bad. Like, it'd be nice if all of them were viable. That's what I want, really. But overall, it's not too bad, but it all depends what happens with the market. A lot of people are scared about, the markets crashing and everything, and it end up being a waste of time. But obviously, there are other ways. But it's hard to tell this early on, I think. And yeah, I definitely think they have a lot of changes to come.
Which is the weakest mastery, would you say, out of all of the life skills?
Training.
Wait, sorry, say
It's
again.
hard to tell because I've not been impressed with hunting yet until we see people at 900 mastery.
Yeah, for
Probably
sure.
hunting or training.
For sure, hunting needs more testing at 900 for sure. I think it can be good.
What happens at 900 mastery for hunting? Like, what makes it so much better?
I'm gonna take a
Get
guess before
yellow
he answers.
drops.
I'm gonna take a guess before he answers. I want to guess. Hold on a second. I'm gonna guess that it's just like the increased of return that you're just getting from it, because by the sounds of it, sounds like the higher mastery you have, the higher chances you have of getting better loot.
Yeah, but it's a specific number. Vert's asking why 900, not 850 or 800.
That's what I'm guessing before he answers. Not fuck. Sorry for trying to have fun here.
What?
Go ahead.
Is hitting 900, is that like hitting 269 on a mist?
Well,
Yes,
for
pretty
hunting
much.
specifically, it's just about the trade item aspect. So there's basically a green, a blue, and a yellow hide and rare drop, and you combine them to make either a trade good or furniture, which a lot of PvPers will be interested in. From what I see, like the high tier furniture. But basically, when you hit 900, you unlock the yellow or the rare, which is the highest you can go. On top of also having the increased drops and everything. It's just both really combined. But we just don't know like how regular the enhanced drops are, because the main thing about hunting is you can get black gems and concentrated black gems as a direct drop, as well as fragments. But we haven't yet seen like what the rates are for those things, because if they're too low, then gathering just beats it in every way. But we don't know.
I've actually heard some pretty good things about the new sniper rifle thing for hunting mastery. Has anybody in here tried that out?
I've done a lot of sniping. I feel it's okay, but not insane. Not in any sense, really.
I haven't tried the sniping at all whatsoever. Is it accurate?
I watch Anfield snipe, and
It is
Oh my
pretty
god.
buggy
he
in
needs to hit the
cases.
death match.
Do you think
It's
moving
definitely pretty buggy.
do you think moving the sniping area to like the forest would have made it like better with people running through it all the time and stuff like that?
I hate the fact that it's in a location where people just like sprint through to get to Velia, because that really does ruin it. But at the end of the day, that content's been around for a while, and they just haven't done anything with it. We still have one mob and one sniper. I feel
I
like
think they're planning to
it's
do
too
more with it,
outdated.
aren't they?
They said
They
it.
definitely planned they wanted to like add more hunting grounds and things like that. So I'd imagine that the Velia area is sort of like the starting point of the sniping master, or the sniping
Yeah,
for the mastery, you know, and then eventually there'll just be more and more lucrative spots in the future.
yeah, I hope so because I think it's quite fun, although it is annoying when it desyncs and like you miss shots and people run past. But overall, I find it kind of enjoyable.
Is the
So
increased
for
supply? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Choice.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I was gonna like go to a different topic.
I was just going to ask if the someone was in my chat was asking about, like, for example, cooking. If more people doing cooking masteries, then it drives down prices of certain items, like with feed, for example. Is that going to be a huge negative aspect, or do you still expect to make bigger gains on those kind of life skills?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
something I'm afraid of.
yeah,
I'm
so
afraid that
I think everyone
high
is.
mastery cookers can just price people out of the market, and you can cook so quickly and at slightly better efficiency that it's not going to be worth anybody else even trying.
Basically, it'll mean that tier 1 base materials will like be a good price, especially stuff like bottlenecks by nodes. And basically everyone sells their stuff to the high tier cook, and he just controls the market. Is the theory, but who knows what will happen, I guess.
So for an average player that's like looking to get the most out of life skilling, that primarily still wants to grind, I guess kind of like myself, what's sort of the life skill you guys would recommend that somebody gets into? Do you think that they should maybe have a focal point on just fishing, or do you think that AFK processing is like kind of gone and fishing's really the only option? Or what are you guys' thoughts on that?
For people who mainly want to grind, I'd always recommend farming as the main one. I think everyone in the game should be farming. There's very little like cons against it. It's so easy. You set up on an alt, it takes like 20 minutes out of your day for like max like 4 cycles a day, like 2 minutes each time, whatever, 5 minutes each time. And it's just really good daily silver. The other thing would be
Now I gotta go rotate my crops.
the other thing would probably be AFK fishing or AFK processing, whatever you want to do, or even AFK training, I guess, is perfectly fine. And apart from that, you really just want to spend your time active grinding if that's what you want to do. You could throw in Imperials in, especially now cooking is so fast. It probably won't take that every day, but you still have to pack. So that's optional, but those are the 3 things I'd recommend.
Okay, I have a question from
I feel
chat.
like processing is very much a thing of the past. My recommendations would be just gathering and fishing. If farming fits your schedule, it is amazing. It's a lot better than workers. But if farming doesn't work for you, just load up on those nodes.
I think nodes got a really big boost with mastery, for sure, because tier 1 materials just skyrocketed in like demand and obviously price. So yeah, nodes are actually less of a meme than they were before mastery.
I knew a year and a half of feeding my workers would pay off eventually.
I mean, they're still not like fantastic. It's still only like passive
The
income.
trace
But
nodes are doing okay now.
yeah, I mean, all the nodes, any tier 1 material is doing pretty good. Everyone's just buying and processing or buying and cooking. Because everything's just so much quicker now.
So as a super like trash life skiller, like the worst on the server, if I just want to do like some gathering on the side and get pretty good results, like what sort of mastery should I shoot for?
I think the number is like 600 or 650 maybe. I'm not sure what Jeffy would say. He's probably done a bit more work on the numbers. So I'll let him answer.
For gathering, I'd say it's more
Yeah.
about what level do you want to push for. And I would say you start with a fluid collector and you use that to upgrade your gear. Once you get your gear to like tet and tri grains, you do hoe gathering. for until you hit 1,000 mastery. Bow Gathering gives you so much XP,
Okay.
and it gives you a nice balance of the black fragments and the Kaphras. That's real
Yeah.
money.
But what level would you need to be with that gear
Mid masters.
to get 1k? Mid masters? I guess that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with what Jeffy said.
Awesome.
Makes sense.
So someone from my chat is asking, what do you? So you guys recommended farming as long as it kind of fits your gameplay style and schedule. And someone's asking, what specifically would you farm? I guess like what's sort of the? Is there anything that really complemented mastery, like more so than previous, or is it just kind of the same old, and you just have more yield now that mastery is existing?
Well, I get first. Farming mastery doesn't exist. Farming is exactly in the same spot it was before, apart from like
You don't
obviously
even get
market
more
price
than from
changes.
gathing from the farms at all. Like the
No.
gathering doesn't even
Farming
exist?
is
no farm
exactly the
mastery.
same.
No.
Oh really? Wow. Okay,
Yeah, it's
that's
in
news to me.
development.
Oh okay.
Yes. Along with trading, there's also no trading mastery either.
What do you guys expect from trading? Like, what if you were? Yeah, I don't know if you guys did any trading, but
Kind of a
what,
good
what
thing
would
that
you
there
want
isn't
from
trading
trading?
mastery.
I expect them to expand on the barter system,
Yeah,
which is part of
yeah.
the Ocean Update Korea got, involving you take land trade goods, put them on a boat, and you take it to all the different islands and get a big reward. I expect there to be some kind of modifier on either the goods they want or the reward from it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I hope it's going to be focused on more active trading because it's something that's been in the game from the beginning, but has never been good. Apart from maybe Port Rat Imperial, but
The
like,
only thing
just
that's good about trading
trading
is
on
when
a
it's finally
wagon is
turned in
terrible.
and it's done.
Well, I
So
have
the
like
worker
a,
crate trade, when people say trade, they think Calpheon Timber Crate. That got
Yeah.
a decent buff with mastery in the sense that you can process a lot faster.
yeah, I was just
So,
gonna
and
say,
especially with the new AFK transport method,
I-
is surprisingly decent.
I stopped AFK
rates are
processing
back.
when Korea got Drigan and they got the masteries with Drigan, and I thought, we'll get that in a couple months.
I
Anyways,
did the same
so
thing.
1 year
yeah,
later.
yeah. So I've had my workers basically getting a bunch of materials for different timber crates and ore crates and things like that. I'm just going through all the processing now, and it's really fast with processing. But I'm looking at the yield of the money I'm actually going to get from that, and it's really lackluster from what I thought I would get for like over a year worth of workers doing that. Would it actually, even without a Manos trading system or mastery trading system, would it be better if I was like, let's say I wanted to still do the trading and processing? If I was to gather with masteries, is that going to be like going to give me a yield of timber that actually means I could actively trade those timber crates, or is the crates just so bad?
Crates are pretty bad.
Oof.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
viable in the sense that you can actually process your material now, but we're still talking about 30, 40 mil an hour alt tabbing and doing your processing. And there's a lot of overhead with the contribution points of having your crates being built. Then you have to wait for them to be done and moved and then sell them. So it's not
Win some.
good, but it's back.
And having +3 creators is even more important than it. I mean, it wasn't that important before. Now it's really important. Because obviously you're processing so much faster. You need the +3 workers just to keep up, really.
Has the transportation of crates changed at all with mastery? Like I know there's that new riding whip thing. Does that make you faster when you have an overload on your horse or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I haven't tested if it affects overloaded horses, and I haven't seen anyone test it. Maybe Jeffy has.
No, I was just going to use the new trade wagon, but that's a good idea. When we get the Manos whip, it's 50%. Should be really noticeable if
Yeah.
it works.
If it works overloaded, but it might not.
Seems to be more of a max speed increase.
So what are the
Which
summer?
golden accessory? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Blake.
go ahead. I was just gonna say
I
what.
was
Go ahead.
You
As
go,
I cut
you
you
go.
off again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anfield.
All right, I was just gonna quickly ask which of the golden accessories or golden life skilling, Manos stuff are you guys gonna go for first?
That was pretty much the same thing I was going to ask.
Is it just
In
gathering?
different
Like,
worded.
is gathering is busted, or is there another one that you think, ooh, that looks interesting? Like maybe you said 900 hunting.
I know a few people are going to hit 900 hunting mastery with blue gear this week, and I'm waiting on them to test it for me. But at the moment, gathering first, most likely, and then probably alchemy, just because I'm most interested in alchemy, and I think it'll be pretty good, especially with high mastery. From what I've been seeing, with like 1k mastery in alchemy, the extra little byproducts you get. So I'm not sure if you know how it works, but basically, when you craft in alchemy now, you get a small chance of getting just random stuff. And by random stuff, I mean like Caphras stones, black stones, sharps, memory fragments,
Wheat flour.
gold bars, wheat flour, and from someone who's been testing on the Discord, who has like 1,000 mastery already, it looks pretty good. Like just from those things.
Yeah, I actually
And you
didn't
can
know
just
that.
spam.
Are there any life skills you
I'm
think are
gonna
going to
be-
completely fall off because of this?
They all just get better.
Okay.
The only question is the comparison between training and fishing, because they're the only two AFK life skills. I think one is going to win, and it looks like fishing.
I think training will still win from the pay to win aspect. There's going to be people who still make tons of money, and it's going to actually help those people.
Do you think it's going to
Oh, the
impact
courses?
Less money.
the horse market? Do you think you're going to see horse prices come down potentially?
If enough people do it, yeah. But
I
it still
gotcha.
comes down to kind of swiping the card. You know?
Yeah, player consumption.
Even with
yeah.
mastery, you need to swipe to get those courses.
How do you guys think
easier
that?
for people to do that?
How do you guys think that the overall economy is going to be affected by this? Like, there's the obvious stuff like bloods are going to drop in price, and the gatherability of things is much quicker, right? But how about the fact that when grinding, you have this thing known as trash loot, whereas in gathering, you get those little tiny trade items and stuff like those little red blood things. Like, you're not really drawing raw silver into the economy. You're more so just gathering sharps and hards and items that are sort of trading hands with other players and essentially removing money from the economy because of the taxes that then take place on the market. So you think that we're going to see like a huge fluctuation in the price of everything just as a result of more people using that as their way to make money instead of grinding?
I think macro BDO economics are always interesting and typically event driven. If there's an event where everyone gets 500 mil for leveling a shy, that's going to drive the prices of everything up. But I think life skill mastery, because as you said, it's mostly item generation and it's an alternative to grinding. So it's an alternative to trash loot, which is silver generation. I think we're going to see the price of everything in the game, even accessories, come down a little bit over the coming months.
Someone asked me if to ask you guys if it was potentially possible to realistically, with the new gathering masteries, to actually be able to Caphras your gear more successfully without having to supplement by spending money on the market to Caphras your gear.
That's
Like
a great
if I wanted,
question.
it's like C9
No.
Caphras is obviously the soft cap. That's not doable just by gathering realistically, even with really high mastery.
Honestly, if I was someone who was pushing
Even if I can post
Caphras,
1,000 at a time now?
I'd
Kappa.
still want to buy them because otherwise it's still going to take a long time. You
The
get
math
more
I've done-
Caphras, but not that much more.
Which is
I'm
the
thinking
bonus
if
while
you
you're
can
doing
get
gathering.
to 1,300, like really high mastery, you can force a Tet to pen with Caphras in about 150, 200 hours of gathering, which is a lot, but that's a guaranteed pen and there's no RNG.
So how many
So-
Caphras would that be?
Like 10,000. Like it's completely viable to self-gather your Caphras at,
Yeah.
1,300, 1,500 mastery. But we're talking
That's
MANOS
quite
gear.
high.
and
Yeah,
gear.
it's very high.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to put that into perspective, C9 is about 6,000 Caphras. So you're asking if it's possible to get C9 yourself. Well, if you have the right gear, I guess definitely, right?
I will be doing that. Most of mine is at C6.
Yeesh.
Well, I kind of hope not, because I still want people to buy my Caphras
Now we had
at
the
like max price.
we had the blue gear come out this week. In short, do you think it's a bust? Like, is it just? I feel like we already asked this though. I'm not sure in the beginning here. Like, is it to clarify more worth to go for this yellow gear over the blue gear? I think we already asked this though, didn't I?
It's
I
worth
think so.
repeating.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I'd say blue accessories will be the end game for most players.
I gotcha.
I still don't think blue accessories are a good idea. I think tech greens are much better bang for your buck. If you want anything better than tech greens, looking at the math behind it, you might as well go straight to MANOS. But the blue
Yeah.
armor and the blue tools are very good.
I see.
Wait, would you go blue tools or would you go Manos tools?
For the average player, if they're not going to make a MANOS tool, a blue tool is their end game, and it's not too far behind MANOS. Talking 50 mastery from Tep Blue to Tep MANOS.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how big of a jump it is in the creation of like enhancing those accessories compared to like going from blue to yellow. Because from what one of my guildies was saying is that in order to make pry on a piece of yellow gear, you need 10 of those concentrated magical stones. And those are, those require like what, 50 of the black magics that you gather. And then they also require 10 sharps and hards if you're making 10 of them. Is that right?
Yeah, pry MANOS accessory. It's like 400 mil for a swing. 400
Yeah,
mil.
that's, and then you can't use fail stacks, right? It's just base chances, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
You fail
Yeah.
stack on the tools. Please do not destroy one of your fail stacks by plussing up tools on the wrong character.
Oh, yeah,
That would be a
choice.
very embarrassing choice.
Wow. I am very happy with my plus 15 my stone for processing. Okay, thank
Oh
you.
no.
What did you lose again? A 51?
No, it was a 65, but I don't have anything to enhance anyway, so it's not that big of a loss for me.
Now you can't use that to gamble anymore. It's better. It's gone.
Yeah, it's actually
A
better.
good
it's
rule of
not.
thumb, if it uses the new black gem enhancing material, it doesn't use fail stacks.
Yeah. That's an easy way to think about it.
Now, is there anything else left in these life skilling updates, in particular, aside from the Manos gear itself, that you are looking forward to?
Well, I mean, until we find out what farming and trading mastery is, there really is not much else. We're kind of caught up with KR.
I
So
wouldn't say I'm looking forward to the ocean content, but I am bracing for it.
I don't know if ocean content is something that I'm looking forward to, but again, I'm ambitious because I know we're gonna have it's like different sailing mechanics on top of the trade routes. I'd be interested in knowing if like we can pirate people, but I feel like that's a reach.
The boat v boat PvP is actually really fun. I did some of it on the lab. You don't charge each other anymore. You're actually strafing around and shooting cannons.
How's the damage output? Is it like faster? Would you say it's faster paced than like two Etheria sailboats fighting each other?
I was using +0 gear on the lab, so it's really hard to say.
Oh, I gotcha.
Do you guys think that sailing mastery is something that's really relevant now for like sea monster hunting and stuff like that? Is that something that you would look forward to investing in to speed up your hunting significantly, or is it just, maybe an additional speed increase? I don't really know the full story behind what exactly sailing mastery does just yet.
Sailing mastery, it gives speed, brake, acceleration, and turn. We only use speed. It's a pretty minor buff. So I'd say might as well grab some duo sailor clothes. Call it a day.
So you're not able to
Not
increase
gonna-
your cannon ram damage in any way, or cannon damage or anything?
Nope, it just makes your boat like 3% faster.
Time to sell all my Furia frigate accessories.
Well, I'm really hopeful for mastery, and I hope that it does provide like a nice way for life skillers to compete with grinding, because life skilling, it used to be very good back in the day. I remember that doing imperial trading and things like that was very competitive with time to time value and grinding versus life skilling, and it just seems like this entire update was just kind of bringing everything back in line. And I don't know, I'm really happy for it. What would you guys say if you're like a brand new player and you want to get into more life skilling now? What are like the first steps, like from on a very basic level, somebody that knows nothing about it? What were the first steps that you would do to kind of like introduce yourself to it?
Start with a fluid collector and gather blood to make your life skill upgrades with black gems, and just really upgrade your own gear with materials you gather yourself. And once you have your gathering in a good spot, you can branch out to other life skills.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much agree. Yeah, start with gathering, and then you can branch off alchemy, cooking, do an AFK skill. Probably fishing is easiest. Yeah, get your worker empire and stuff, so you can start processing as well.
You guys think that significant investment into like fishing mastery is something that players should be looking at? Has anybody done sort of like a comparison to cost to benefit ratio over long periods of time?
I don't think fishing mastery is very good. It's something that I'm probably just gonna let my accessories carry me with. I don't think I'm gonna be getting MANOS fishing clothes or anything like that. It's just a nice little bonus when you're AFK fishing. I don't think active fishing is going to be any better. Like harpooning is supposed to be the way to go, but realistically, you're going to get more consistent money from hotspot fishing, and hotspot fishing was not affected in any way by mastery. You could get lucky and get like 2 ghost whales in 1 hour, but I don't think it's going to be the case that it's going to happen enough times to beat hotspot fishing. But yeah, for AFK fishing, just whatever.
I have seen a couple of people linking ghost whales in chat, so I do know that there are a few people that are hotspot fishing, but I think it requires you to travel all the way to Megoria, like deep Megoria. Is that kind of the only place?
There's very
is that the best
specific
place right now?
spots, yeah. Yeah, very specific spots for the ghost whale. I think one is found. Is guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but like it can drop it. But there could be other spots, but it seems like it's not something you would just randomly come across.
The name of the game with mastery gear is to make sure you don't over upgrade your gear. Don't spend too much on processing gear if you don't have a ton of processing materials. I feel like Duo Blue is so cheap compared to going anywhere past that. Start there, see if it's a good pace for you. And if you feel like you're getting really good value, then you can think about upgrading past it.
How does
Blue
Duo
use
Blue?
membranes? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, how does Duo Blue compare to like Tet Green? Is it like similar cost? Does one have a larger time investment? What would you say?
Tet Green is better, but more expensive than Duo Blue. And to repair Duo Blue, I think that's Vert's question. You can use Memfrags for 2 durability, or you can use another piece of armor for 10 mil with an artisan to do 40 durability.
Oh, what a convenience. Okay.
Very convenient.
I
didn't realize you could use a piece of gear with an artisan.
Yeah.
Yep. 40 durability.
Wait, Fake, that's not how you enhance your Laverta, dude. Come on.
There's a period where it was logical to do that with like Zarkas and stuff.
Hold on one second. Let me repair my dandy.
I remember when the market was really messed up and stuff was so cheap, it was almost reasonable to upgrade your durability on your muskins by buying another muskins with an artisan. Like that was almost an actual strategy. It's crazy.
Well, it was with
think
Zarka for
for-
a while.
For general market trends, once the Manos gear comes out and then people get whatever they need or they go completely broke, I think it'll settle down, and hards and sharps, they won't be cheaper, but they'll be easier to get. And we've already seen the mem frags and Kafirs are starting to come down. So for everyone else outside of life skillers, you can rejoice in slightly easier progression.
Praise the sun.
So coming onto the podcast, Jeffy or DMUK, is there anything that you really wanted to talk about mastery-wise that we haven't spoken about so far?
Not really. I think we've spoken about a lot of what we know so far. It's still early days, so more testing to be done, and maybe more meta stuff will come about as more and more people get the gear and get higher tier mastery level. But until then, we don't really know.
I now just feel like I'm losing time by not getting into this immediately, like coming into next week.
No, you're not.
No, you don't
You're-
think so?
It's fine. It's mastery. It's kind of a reset button. You can get started now. You could get started next week, and it's just you put the time in, you upgrade the gear, and you unlock the good mastery.
I know we asked this earlier too, but just to reiterate, do you think that it is competitive with high-end grinding spots?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to just go with Jeffy because I just don't have any experience with high-end grinding, but I think Jeffy definitely does. So I'd probably take his word for it.
It's only certain life skills at insane levels of gear, but I think you can compete with non-loot scrolled grinding. That is until, like, I keep thinking the company should put in a life skiller scroll, give us a 1 hour 500 mastery buff. I think that's fair.
Don't give them ideas.
That would be pretty crazy. Now that would definitely be high-end grinding if you're gathering like 2k mastery or something like that.
Just to balance the loot scrolls. Come on.
I don't think we
I
need
wouldn't
any
mind.
more convenience in this game. You know what I mean?
Or at least maybe a daily buff. Like, we don't have anything. I haven't taken my
Daily
daily
XP
like,
buff, maybe?
XP buff like forever because we don't have an option like combat XP or skill XP. Where's the life skill XP? Or even like
Well,
mastery, as Jeffy said.
you guys recently did get the Life XP books. I don't remember those existing for
That's true. The
longest
books are
time.
actually really helpful, but they also buff the scrolls at the same time. It's kind of same buff.
And
But yeah, that was really
one really big difference, I guess, about like Combat XP book and Life XP book is now Life XP, the amount of level you have in your life skill directly affects your income, whereas level in the game doesn't really directly affect your grinding income. So it sort of kind of makes sense, I guess, that they didn't have a whole bunch of Life XP buffs, given that they are going to be putting out Manos and, you know, probably next week, right?
25th. We've got 2 weeks.
Okay, so 2 weeks. Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of get the point, though. It's like, I feel like if they go crazy on life skilling bonuses, I mean, it's already coming to the point where they had to boost the cap for life skills because so many players were reaching Guru 20 already. And for something that's sort of done passively, especially like processing, I think that it would have been overkill to have bonuses to that in terms of life skilling buffs, but definitely for some of the slower skills, I would love to see, you know, the first Guru trainer. Have we seen a Guru trainer? Is that
Yeah.
anything that he have? Okay. There's got to be only like a couple of those,
Is
right?
There's
Blitzchung
one.
Guru?
There's one guru trainer on EU, and they are many hundreds of hours ahead of anyone else. There won't be another one this year, pretty much.
That's crazy how far ahead he was. Wow.
They need to sort that out. There's like sailing, especially. I'm sure they probably have plans to do stuff with the ocean expansion, but damn, that thing is impossible to get to Guru, and it feels bad.
I think you get
Yeah,
XP for killing the new sea monsters, right?
Oh, they need to do something.
One thing I'd like to say in closing is that there's a really big and helpful life skill community out there that people might not realize. DMUK and I both stream opposite continents, so there's always a life skiller around. And there's quite a few Discords. There's public ones, and then you can ask for invites to some of the more exclusive ones to really help get you started and help point you in the right directions.
And I think too, Jeffy, you also have a full-on Google sheet about like how to get into Manos as well. Maybe that's something we could link in the description of like the YouTube video that gets posted for the podcast. That'd be very useful.
Yeah, for sure. I read Jeffy's guide and it seems pretty solid. It's a good guide.
Open to suggestions, especially the training section, hunting. There's a few I haven't done personally, so I'm really relying on other people to help me out there. Guys, give me a permit. I'll link it in your chat.
All right, sure.
And if you go ahead, if you would like to share that in the Discord too, I can make sure that that also gets included in the description down below in the video.
Do you want like a link to the LiveSkill Discord?
Yeah, sure. Include as much info as you want, and I'll include all that.
Where do you want me to send it?
You can put it anywhere.
Yeah.
Put it in the general Discord, wherever works. As long as I have access to it somewhere, you can DM it to me. You can DM it to all of us. Just put it in one. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. And going back to what also Choice said earlier, is there anything else left that you guys hope to potentially cover in terms of life skilling that maybe we haven't had a chance to discuss? I know it's been very Manos specific, which has been kind of related to current time and events. But was there anything else that maybe you wanted to mention that we didn't get a chance to bring up?
I'm just happy to be a life skiller again. Like, this is how I used to play the game, and it got so far behind grinding that I felt bad every time I used it. And now we can life skill without feeling like we're falling behind.
Yeah, I definitely think this mastery in general just kind of made me enjoy the game a lot more. Like, I actually look forward to playing the game now. It got to the point where I just had no progression at all. Like, my levels like are quite high now, and I barely get a level a week or so. And that's all I had for progression. I had no gear. Like, I didn't care about PvP, PvE. But now, like, I'm pushing mastery brackets, and it's like super exciting. It's kind of like probably what you feel when you get to like 269 or like the next AP bracket, and it's kind of like basically make me like the game again.
That's a great example. Guys, if any of us want to be able to check out your channels and watch you, hear you, listen to you, be able to come here and ask you questions, where can we find you?
I'll let Jeffy go first.
On our streams or in our respective Discords. DMUK and I are both pretty active in life skill chat.
Yeah, just Discord or my Twitch. I try and stream every day, but sometimes I don't. Usually in the evenings or just during the day.
If you guys
But
can
obviously EU times.
If you guys can do me a rock solid and include your guys' Twitch links in the general Discord as well, I'll make sure that all of those details are included in the description as well down below. And guys, please make sure to take the time to give our guests a follow as well. If you guys have any questions or anything that you feel like wasn't able to be covered or brought up in the conversation of things, please feel free to join our friends and ask them as well. As terms of everyone else here, was there anything else that you guys wanted to have a chance to ask our guests here? Okay, then I'm going to assume that silence means no. As far as that goes, I do want to say thank you very much, DMUK and JeffyTheWise, for you guys taking the time to just come be with us today and taking the time out of your guys' schedules to just join us as we try some new things as well. And I hope you guys enjoy your time here and feel like you got a chance to get everything you wanted across as well.
Yeah, thanks. Didn't really know what to expect, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad Jeffy was here to back me up on some things, and yeah, it's good. Thanks for the invite.
Awesome. Well, as far as that goes, guys, thank you very much for being here. And if anyone tuning in wants to take a gander at anyone who was joining us today in the podcast, you can find everything and all details in the links down in the description down below. And as far as that goes, guys, I will see you here for next week, same time, same place. Well, actually, no, it's not same time, same place, but same place. And as far as that goes, guys, you guys all have yourself a great rest of your day. And thank you again very much